Welcome to the Trans-parency Podcast. I'm sure you might recognize the sweater as it did make some history.
This is the Trans-parency Podcast Show.
And I've got my amazing, as always, co-host Blossom C. Brown and some more special guests as usual, because we only have special guests on the Trans-parency Podcast. Welcome to the panel. Panel. How are you doing? Oh, yes, it is them. Yes, it is. Welcome.
Good.
Oh, my gosh. So, yes, it is. The Jubilee folks. We're bringing them live with an exclusive episode.
Where's the cheers, baby? We cheers around here.
Kaylani,
Okay.
how are you doing today? And how is the weather? What's going on?
I'm good. The weather's fine. It was a long one down here, but we made it.
Definitely. And Naima,
Hello.
how are you? I know you've been making a lot of trouble, especially with the whole Aiden Ross situation, but how are you doing? Yes, I'm going straight for the tea. I'm going right for the trouble, right for the jump.
Starting from the beginning.
How's that situation working out for you? Do you need a big brother situation? Because I'll take them on for you. I don't care.
Honestly, see, I feel like God put me in this body so I wouldn't just be whipping niggas' asses. Because I really want to beat his ass, but I'm not going to. I'm going to choose peace. I'm going to be demure. Also, I heard he got banned from Amex and stuff. Like,
What?
I feel like people are kind of like...
Wait, I didn't know that actually. Wait,
I
what?
don't know. I have this weird thing where, like, when people do things to me, they feel an immediate karma from the universe. And so I'm just going to let that
good.
take care of that. But I will talk my shit about him. That, I feel like, is my right as an American.
Rightfully so.
Thank you.
And my good friend, how the hell are you? Because it was fun to talk shit on set with you when we were back there, and we had that whole Ben Shapiro moment. So how are you, doll?
My personal hero. That is Shane, and you know this. Daniel, a.k.a. Arcane Bro, for those on my socials. I'm good. I'm just ready to talk shit and have a key.
Well, speaking of talking shit, who's ready to talk the first shit? Who's got something on their mind?
Ladies
Because
first.
I am sure
on my
we've got,
domain.
the election, we've got the whole Joe Rogan situation, we've got Trump.
Wait, what Joe Rogan situation?
Oh.
Can we start there?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
You don't know the whole Joe Rogan situation?
What did he do
What's up?
now?
Or did not do.
Or did not do. Well, Joe Rogan, first of all, now when he endorsed Trump, right now he's backing his endorsement and going, well, I don't know. Now I don't know if I support him. And he's thinking that he's being lied to. Yeah. So it's almost like
I didn't know that.
he's become Alex Jones in some way, but at the same time, like he's realizing he was used. I don't know. It's a developing situation, but it's almost comical to see this man go from where he was and everything that happened to him after the Bernie bro burned out situation, and now seeing him as almost like this right-wing political arm now, like how one goes from there to the other. So that was my whole Joe Rogan situation. But there's also other situations like the tea with Aiden Ross.
Yeah.
There's all of that whole situation.
Wait, with Joe Rogan?
No, with you and Aiden Ross.
Yeah, I was like,
No,
Joe
because
Rogan and
I
Aiden
saw
Ross are
that on my
fighting.
FYP, and I was like, why is he even coming for you in any way, shape, or form? And also, there's the thing with Destiny, the leak with him and Nick Fuentes, which I automatically just thought of you and how funny that was that happened, because Destiny's even an interesting character himself.
Wait. Okay. Hold
There's so much.
Let's go. Let's begin at the beginning. So the thing with Aiden Ross is really weird. So I was not like very big on social media.
Yeah.
And by very big, I mean I was not on social media before the video with Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my introduction into all of this.
Which was amazing.
Right?
Like, you called him out. That shit was funny as fuck.
Apparently he doesn't smile in photos now.
You ate him.
You know, he also edited out earplugs out of like his photos because he was bullied about it, about wearing earplugs at a NFL game. Like, no, I literally thought of you. I was like, oh my God, it's just karma after karma after karma.
That's
after
what I'm
karma.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Come for me. You will experience karma. It's going to happen. It's on its way. Like,
You're like, I don't even have to do it. It's just
I
spiritual at
really
this point.
don't. This happens in my personal life. It happens every time. Okay. Anyway, so I didn't know who Aiden Ross was. I'm obviously not like big on the manosphere. I don't really think they have much space for me.
Yeah.
So he hit me up on Instagram and was like, do you want to debate Nick Fuentes? Now, I vaguely knew who Nick Fuentes was. I mostly just knew that he was a Nazi. And
The My Body, Your Choice for anybody in the
Yes.
comments that don't know who Nick
That's
Fuentes
a
is.
creepy-
yeah, and he's I didn't know.
Oh, no. Nope.
Nope.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, no. So I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm super good off
Smart
that.
choice.
And then he was like, you want $10,000? And I was like,
So he really did try to pay you. That was not like just some like for the show. He was actually like, I'm going to pay you $10,000.
No, he was going to try. He tried to pay me $10,000 and I said no again. And then he upped it to $20K. And I said, okay, maybe. Because I'm not going to lie, $20K is a lot of money.
Get your coinage.
Yes. So
Nobody's
I started.
gonna judge you at $20K. Honestly,
Right?
you know what I mean?
Right?
If anybody judges you at $20K, I mean, you know.
So now I started making some calls and I'm like, okay, let's see if we want to do this. Let's see what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, the person who really helped me the most in that situation was Dean.
Oh, wow.
Because Dean had already debated Nick Fuentes.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I didn't know anyone else who's debated Nick Fuentes. So I talked to Dean. Dean did it for free because he didn't say no the first time. He just jumped at the bit. And Dean was like, they doxed his family. They were coming after like his relatives.
Yeah.
They were doing all that stuff. And that was what really made me say no. Because it's like, originally I was going to do it knowing that there is no debate. Like, it's just going to be us screaming
Viral
at each
clips.
other, viral clips, and then the end. Like, it's not going to do anything to help the people. If I was going to do it, it would just be for the money.
Yeah.
And I was low-key debating, like, is this worth the money? But when I knew that it's not just, like, you're kind of embarrassing yourself and the things that you stand for, but it's also you're endangering the people that you love, then I was like, no, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So I made a video about it that went, like, mini viral on TikTok. And it was all about Nick Fuentes, who's actually never really responded to me, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
I said one sentence about Aiden Ross. The sentence was, I think it's hilarious that Aiden Ross tried to pay a girl $20,000 to talk to him, and she still said no.
Mm-hmm.
And he got so twisted about it. He called you poor afterwards because he's like, I was trying to give you money. Yeah, I watched the whole like lie. I was like, how are you going to sit here and say you're trying to give opportunities to this person and then turn around and just spit in their face at the same time because they didn't say yes to the opportunity? Yeah. It wasn't that great of an opportunity. It was. Like you said, it would have harmed your family. I mean, because we all know this. It would have harmed the causes. When we go on these Jubilee things, we get hate comments right away. We get all of that stuff that we have to deal with. And there's a lot more factors that we have to think about when we go on these platforms dealing with these conservative people.
And once you have a platform, you do have to think like in a greater sense, like what is my voice doing? Like what is the goal with everything that I do? And I feel like the goal with that was just to clip farm and it wasn't like my goal is not to make this country a worse place. And I did not think that that was going to be helpful. And I think that his fans were just looking for someone to hate. And I didn't want, like, I don't think it would have reached the audiences that I want to reach.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have gotten to say things that I want to say. I think it would have just been entertainment for them. And that's not.
Yeah.
It's giving very much like, you know, when a guy, I guess anybody's capable of this, but when this guy is like, you know, trying to talk to a girl, like, you know, hollering at her, and she's like, no, I'm not interested. You're this anyway.
It's literally like, that.
Hey, well, your approach.
Same energy.
Sounds like trans women. We go through that all the time when we reject someone.
Yeah. It's always, oh, you're still a dude. Well, you still try to talk to me. You're still in my inbox. You're still in my face. So
liking the photos.
Exactly. You're still liking my photos, but your wife doesn't know.
She said it. She said it, but it's true though. But it's true though. It's true. 100% true. You know,
Yeah, that was a long sound.
Okay, Captain America.
Wild on the Trans-parency Podcast show.
We don't still know the buttons. We've been
doing
this for how long?
We always do this.
Know.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below so that way you'll know when we post new videos like so. We always do that every episode.
Make sure to hit below. We forget to promote ourselves. Everyone's just talking. My bad. Anyway.
No, you're.
We just got really excited though. It just hit me when I pushed that button.
I'm going to ban you guys from those buttons.
Honestly, I just was not surprised by Aiden Ross's response because the thing you were saying about men being rejected and getting, I've experienced that so many times. I've had so many men who I'll reject them. They'll call me the N-word. They'll call me ugly. It'll get immediately so racist.
The projection and insecurity.
Like, I had one guy who threatened to kill himself after I rejected him. Like, guys have said some crazy, crazy stuff. So I was just like, honestly, it wasn't even that original. Like, he didn't even do it as good as I've seen other people do it. Like, if you're gonna read me, like, you should at least like be factually correct. You should at least know how to read.
Yeah.
Have you seen that video of him not knowing how to read?
Which one? Wait. Wait.
He genuinely doesn't know how to read. He's literally functionally illiterate. He tried to read the
1 in
word.
5 Americans are actually functionally illiterate. Now's the time for education. This is an educational moment. No, go on. I'm sorry.
No, he's literally stupid. And none of the things he said were true. Me and my boyfriend were laughing our asses off when he was like, she gets no dick. I was like sitting there next to him like, oh.
You're like, it's in my hand right here.
Let's do it for the second time.
That's the crazy thing about this whole like red pill content stuff. Because for me, like, okay, let's play the masculinity, the toxic thing of like, when I think of like men, right? We think of men that like work and are in like these like muddy, kind of hard like jobs, lifting things and doing all these things, paying bills and not staying home so that their wife can stay home. None of those things are happening with this red pill content. Like, none of these guys even know how to change a tire. None of these guys know how to build a house. I mean, these are things that I actually grew up. I know how to change a tire. I can do all of those checkbox masculinity things. And meanwhile, I mean, like you said earlier with the comments and stuff that you receive, I've been receiving the hate comments too of just like, oh, you're still a woman, which to me is extra funny because as I grew up as a kid, I'm a big bitch. Let's be real. Like I'm tall and I grew up with that's a man, that's a man, that's a man, that's a man as a child. So then this whole flip, like through, especially now that I have like a following and I'm getting constant hate comments, I'm looking at it and it's almost healed me in some way by having it come at me so much that I look at it, it's like hate is just hate. Like they're just hating me just because of my existence in itself, because whether I operated this way or that way, either way, I'm not fitting into your Eurocentric standards of what a woman should be or what a man should be. And I'm not living up to this. Meanwhile, at the same time, the hypocrisy of it is always like, I can change a tire. I can build a house. I could do all the things that men can do. And it's these weird things that are happening in red pill content that I'm like, you guys aren't even getting laid. You're creating incels. Like,
so sad because they're marketing it too as like
you're not getting laid.
This is supposed to be like
isn't that what
like
the whole thing you guys get? Yeah,
they're indoctrinated into this in the concept of like this is self-help, but it's actually making them so much worse off than they would have been if they just did what every other man does, which is struggle for a minute and then figure their shit out. Like that's it.
And you know the funny thing is, I tell people all the time, like you say that trans women aren't women, but little do you know, look. If I'm with you, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, but I'm still going to work. I'm still doing all these things for you. I'm still taking care of you like you wish your woman would.
That's true. That is so true.
I'm doing the most.
Yikes.
I'm respecting you. I'm respecting your time, your energy, everything that you do. But when you tell me I'm not a woman, but you're expecting this woman over here to do everything for you, but she tells you, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I don't cook. I DoorDash. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. It's almost like they don't see us as worthy enough to be romantically loved out loud. And that's what's always confused me. I'm not going to even lie to you. And it's just, as a trans woman, especially being a Black trans woman, it is so, so challenging having to deal with the anti-Blackness and having to deal with so much trauma that has been generationally put on us. And I think for me personally, a lot of it showed up in my romantic partnerships. You know what I mean? Like my disconnect from my mother. So, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I think what you said, it was so, so important. And it's like, well, I know I'm worthy of love. I know I deserve to be in a beautiful, healthy, romantic partnership where I can be loved out loud and not be somebody's side piece. Honey, I don't want to be somebody's coleslaw and mashed potatoes to somebody else's piece of chicken. Excuse me?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
But you know
my own butt. Excuse me?
But you know the one thing I tell people all the time, I do makeup content. I still do my political side. I still post things about that. But there's also certain things like with makeup brands. Like I'll see brands, they'll post up 1,001 just androgynous boys, but she won't post probably 1 or 2 trans women. Yeah. Like you expect us to come out for you on Pride, but where's the pride for us when it's throughout the year? Like I can do a beat faster than these people, and then I can make it look naturally beautiful, make the person's inner light shine. But then you pick the other person who did something where they're just like, oh, a wing, a line, I'm done, we're good. I'm like, pick someone off their talent, not based off of what you think will sell. There's 1,001 white women on a whole page.
Yeah.
I appreciate their content, but give me something more.
Yes.
Give me a full timeline of other people versus just that singular group. Listen, if someone was complected like Naima, I'd want to see that too. If someone's complected like you, Blossom, I would want to see that too. I would want to see stuff like that, which makes us feel like we're being seen. Just like they have Glorilla.
I love. Yes.
I'd want to see some people like her complexion. I want to see a spectrum, not just one singular color. If you can give me a spectrum of people, and the thing that they do now is they label as, oh, they're so woke, they're so woke. It's not called being woke when you respect other people's color, their culture, and their base. That's called respect.
And the weaponization of woke just is another tool that supremacy has used to now take the power out of it. Because even now with this election, like something that I was thinking about, for a moment there on the red side and the blue side, there was kind of like a class solidarity thing happening because there was a lot of unions like during COVID where a lot of people were like, hey, you know what? Let's protest. Let's not go to work. And two sides were coming together. And now, like, what I'm seeing a lot with this political sphere that we're in, it's almost like the working class now is being pitted against each other in a way to fight for scraps. Meanwhile, we've got people that are making billions and billions and billions of dollars. And to your point about how that ties into like why they're only picking one Black trans woman to represent instead of multiple, or even like I experienced this with trans men. Like we don't even get any visibility at all, like period. Like we're not even part of, like, we're not even invited to the table. And so I can relate to that in some ways. Watching, it's all down to corporate dollars. It's all down to what sells the most, what's the algorithm. And that's why they are picking the white women. That's why they are picking this certain type of look, because that even happens like for trans men. Like trans guys, they show mostly like young, effeminate, androgynous, Twinkie looking. They don't really show that guys like me even exist, to the point where after the Jubilee thing, people are like, oh my God, I didn't even know trans men came to that size. And it's like there's this lack of visibility that goes on through the intersectionalities of so many different communities. And it all comes down to the corporate dollar that we're all having to like deal with that. And it causes the infighting within so many different communities.
Can we talk about Ben Shapiro? Because
yes,
I'm
of course. I mean, listen,
I'm fangirling here because I'm the only one on set that was not in that episode. And so I'm with 4 celebrities. So I have to we got to talk about this. I'm so sorry. Including you, my co-host. My co-host is famous now, y'all. But how was it like debating Ben Shapiro?
Because let me pass it to somebody else.
He's a little bit of a menace.
Y'all go.
Yeah.
And I'm just really curious to know. That's just like the one thing I want to know. Like, what was that like?
Because I don't want to take up too much space,
Honestly,
but go for it.
Like, you guys are going to hate this take.
Yeah.
I just finished doing the video with Charlie Kirk, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who Charlie Kirk was. Obviously, I know now.
Yeah.
And I think that I was now had an expectation that that was what it was going to be, like on set both times. And it was going to be like a very similar energy. Ben was actually like way nicer than Charlie Kirk was off camera.
Really?
Oh gosh, it was so weird.
Night and day.
He was so sweet, and it was like
it was really, really off-putting, honestly.
To me, I have been in spaces where I know exactly what he was doing. And that's why I was even more uncomfortable, because what he was doing was he was trying to disarm everybody.
Yeah.
Like he was trying to come in there like, oh, hey guys, I'm just a regular guy. I'm just Ben. Meanwhile, it's like you have the most vicious, vile things that you're doing behind the scenes, and then trying to create this soft, like, I'm a professional person. Let me button up.
No, it was clearly not genuine, but I will say I definitely preferred it more to... Because Charlie Kirk was just really rude, like off camera.
Really?
And the thing that was weird about that video is it was all college kids. So I think like me and my friend Mason were like maybe the 2 of the oldest. I'm 22.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
And like there were 18-year-olds there. And he was so mean to us. So like, as much as I believe that Ben Shapiro is playing a game, it's part of a tactic, it's not genuine.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the fact that he was able to be nice, because I would much prefer to see people modeling because in politics, it's ugly. We hate each other. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I would rather see people hate each other with dignity than hate each other with like a really immature animosity, especially in settings like that, you know?
Yeah.
Well, what's his name? Charlie Kirk came across as, sorry to cut you off. He came across as very much like condescending. And I don't know.
Well, I mean, the way that they write with the hero situation, debate the hero, I'm sure that inflates the ego when they're walking on set.
I don't think his ego needed much inflating.
No, I know, but it's already like now pumped up on high juice too.
Was
with
Henry that big in person?
Yes.
And his teeth. No,
Yes. His teeth were so, girl. Corn kernels.
That corn kernel.
It's always the people who are, and here, I want to say this too. I'm sorry, I want to say this because my whole thing about Donald Trump, because like we're gonna go there, but like
we're going everywhere.
My whole thing is like if you are an attractive person, typically in like not even America, in the world, you tend to get away with shit because that's just how we treat pretty people.
I don't know how these ugly niggas are getting away with so much
That's my point,
I
sister.
do not
Thank you.
get it.
I am like screaming. How are you able to? You freaks of nature. How are you able to get away with this? Like
You're dumb.
people.
Your voice is annoying.
My people.
You're ugly. Like you're
misshapen,
irritating.
you have bad wigs and bad makeup.
BMW, body made wrong.
sorry.
Like I can't.
See, I didn't
like
wanna go there.
why are we not bullying them? What's
That part.
happening?
Why
That part.
Why is Charlie
What
Kirk
is
saying
happening?
that?
Listen, if we are going to get bullied, and to that point, and this is one thing that does kind of piss me off a little bit about the Democratic Party, they're not playing by the rules anymore. There's so many people that had sent me messages of like, oh, you should have done it this way. First of all, I already knew Ben was not going to be anywhere near having a debate. And second of all, the way that the room was sat by the time that I got up there, there was already so much going on in the room that I was like, you know what? Fuck it, flip the table because this is bullshit. What's even happening? And then third of all, looking at the situation as a whole, like you have to bully them at this point. Like there's
Democratic
nothing
Party
you can do.
refuses.
Like
we always wanted, they go low,
Like,
we go high. No,
no.
stop it.
No,
Fuck
no,
that
no.
shit.
no.
I'm going to hell.
Period.
It's, you know-
I mean, don't go to hell, but like, kill nobody. Don't kill nobody, but like,
I will say this as someone who actually did not go up there and debate Ben Shapiro because
Yeah.
I'm a very confrontational person that I like to fight, especially where I'm from, Chicago. It's just like it's rooted in me, right? And it was funny watching him. I was watching everyone around. I was like, let me just see how this goes before I jump into the ring because I like to fight, but I want to know who my opponent is. So I was like watching, and at the end there was an opportunity for anybody who didn't speak to get a chance to talk. It was me and another gentleman. I don't remember his name, but he wanted to bring up January 6th topics. I wanted to talk about my people. So I was like, you know what? I can get up there and read Ben or like have a viral moment, or I could like let someone go up there who is like have actually well-informed opinions about whatever their subject is.
Yeah.
So I was like, you go ahead and do your thing. I can read him, whatever. I can read him by myself,
Yeah.
So I just didn't want to like give him that. You know what I mean? I don't want to give Ben any of that. I was like, y'all got it. The kids got it. Because I'm older than all of y'all. So I'm like, they got it.
This episode is brought to you by Kitcaster. Kitcaster books you on top podcasts. How do funded startup founders attract prospects and talent? Podcast interviews. How do entrepreneurs with exits find new deals? Podcast interviews. How do C-suite execs differentiate in crowded markets? Podcast interviews. Kitcaster books you on top podcasts. Click the link in the show notes for a special offer. Celebrate good conversation.
I do like that this video, the second video was not just.
Oh gosh.
Shane.
Yo, my hero.
The clips, someone drew me. I was like, what is happening?
Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
I love the drawing clips. Okay. When the artist got to the Charlie Kirk video, have you seen
With
those
the
edits?
teeth and then it pauses.
The artist. Oh my God. I'm not gonna lie. I'm such a narcissist. I watch all the edits. I watch all the edits of me.
Make sure to make more edits. She watches all of them, folks.
If you make an edit of me, I will watch
Tag
the
her.
edit. I will watch the edit. I'll probably repost it. I love edits of me.
Cut it the same. Yeah, it's funny.
I can. It's so beautiful. I'm like, yay. These artists started drawing me and Charlie in the debate, and I'm not gonna lie, I made them my lock screen. I had a little lock screen collage of me as a drawing.
So you know what I'm gonna say. You know where I'm about to go with this.
Do I?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
You know.
Oh my God, Blossom, no.
I have to say this. And this is a very opinionated show, by the way. So everything we say here is our opinion.
That's fair.
You remind me of this conservative Gen Zer who I demolished in a debate named Amala Ekmunambi. Honey.
The comments are about to light up right now. Oh my God.
Amala Ekmunambi was someone that I destroyed in a debate, in my humble opinion.
She's going to watch it and she'll be like, oh, got to make an edit.
All right.
Have you ever been compared to Amala Ekmunambi?
So I didn't know who this bitch was until she made a video about me.
Damn.
Because she's just obsessed with me.
No.
Yeah,
And
she's
she
a pathetic
compared
thing, in
us
my opinion.
in the video. And honestly, I was so freaking pissed. Amala, you could never?
No.
You could never?
Oh.
Don't compare yourself to me. We're not sisters. We're not friends. I don't fuck with you. You are an Aunt Jemima ass bitch. You are fuck you, bro. And if you want to keep talking about me, you should come and talk to me. I would love to debate with you. I think that would be such a cute kiki. Okay, Pookie? But I was so done with her. I hate that girl. She's a grifter. First of all, she used to be a Democrat. She switched over for the money.
Yep.
I know people call me broke. That's the brokest shit I
Wait, isn't this the one where you made Buck Angel cry?
Yeah, but Buck Angel had no tears.
Yeah, right here.
I kid you not, Buck Angel had no tears. So here's my side of the story. With this particular episode, originally, Amala had asked me if I would debate other trans women on there, conservative trans women. I was like, sure, we just did the episode. So literally maybe like a day before, she switched it up and brought Buck Angel on there. So I wasn't fully aware that he was on there.
Which is a completely different debate.
Which is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
And the thing is...
Who is Buck Angel?
This thing...
Conservative trans man, ex-porn star.
He's a fool. He's a damn fool.
That's a crazy conservative trans man.
Yeah, he was the character.
Also doesn't like to pay his bills. Remember, we have an episode on him because we actually invited his ex-best friend.
He was a character that he was like the only trans man that was in adult entertainment. So
he's not the one with the letters, is he?
No, he's just he just has an annoying voice.
No, okay,
but, yeah,
okay.
But in this particular debate or whatever, Buck Angel acted like he was crying, which he was not. There was no tears in his eyes. I felt really gaslit and really ganged upon because I had destroyed her in the first debate, which is the reason why, in my opinion, she slick asked me to come over to her side. So I understand 100% what you're saying or whatever like that. In my opinion, I think she's a snake and I think that she cannot uphold her own. So I would watch firsthand and front row you destroy her in a debate. But the thing is...
She's a grifter and her fits are whack. You're basic as fuck.
Yeah, she is. I'll be honest with you. She quite is because, she's gone back and forth whether she's gone back and forth saying, in our episode, I think she was saying something about, I'm biracial. And then in that particular episode, I'm a black woman. And it's like, well, make up your mind because you criticize and you look down upon other people who've expressed who they are in their identity. So sis, make up your mind. But it was so funny because I told Shane when you were coming, she reminds me so much of her, but I think she's a beautiful spirit, a beautiful soul. I loved your energy in that video. I thought that you were fantastic. I thought all of y'all were fantastic. I love the way you were running in that video. You were running to that chair.
Yo.
And I just want to know what was going on in your mind when you were doing that. Like, what was going on?
To be honest, when I got to the chair, I sat with Ben Shapiro. And then I'm talking to him and I'm like, yeah, I already know about all this DEI stuff. You guys say we're culturally lazy. I told him, you're not from the culture. If you're not from that culture, you cannot say that culture is lazy. You don't know what we've been taught. In the Black community, yeah, we've been taught we had to work 10 times as harder as the next person beside us. That's just how we are ran. We're not visible to a lot of people because of our color. Our color hits the door before we do. Our names hit the door before we do. Yes. So we have to be 10 times as excelled and accomplished as the next person. So when they raised their flags, I was all like, dang, like you guys didn't let me finish my point. And even with when everybody was like, when Ben said, I'm from Burbank.
I laughed. Yeah. I audibly laughed. I said Burbank.
I knew he was from Burbank.
Because rich kids have lived in Burbank because I've grown up here and I know Burbank was like, you got money. Like, you don't have a lot of money. It's not Beverly Hills, but it's like, you got a little bit of money.
You have no street cred. You have as much street cred as a piece of
and
cotton
I'm
candy.
like,
You have no street cred.
when
That's not.
When he said Burbank, I was all like, dude, you're literally in an affluent neighborhood.
Warner
where
Brothers
if they pull your
Studios down the
address,
street.
Streets
like
of
if they
Burbank.
pull your
Like,
address
you're
right
fine.
now, you're first in line. You're
Malibu's
not
most
even
wanted.
last.
Straight out of Burbank. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, when I saw that part, I was like, is he
Malibu?
a moron? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, like,
Is he a moron?
When someone's from
Running
South
gangs in
Central,
streets
Long
in
Beach,
Burbank.
anywhere Compton, we're pulled last. We're told that we don't excel as hard as the next person. And even though Venus and Serena from Compton, they do their excellence. You have Snoop Dogg. He comes back to the community, still gives them Long Beach.
Kendrick Lamar.
Exactly.
yeah.
You have a lot of affluent Black people who are very accomplished and educated, but they're still coming back to the community to help out.
Nipsey
But-
Hussle too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but they're still told that we still don't make a big impact as the next person. So even when I was debating him, I was all like, everybody was like, oh, you shouldn't talk about where he's from. I'm like, I didn't talk about where he's from. Someone else laughed at him where he's from. I said, from Burbank? Like, are you serious? That's something that doesn't even compare. That's not a comparison.
Yeah, no. And when I saw that part, I was just like, what the hell is going on? And one thing I noticed in the video, especially like with you, it was like trans people, we always have to push harder to be able to get our talking points across. Because, you know, you were saying something that was really important to our community. And I love what you said because I know you personally and I knew it was coming from like a place of heart and soul.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you did that. And I was also just kind of sad too, because it's like, I knew it took so much for him to say that. And at the end of the interview with Ben Shapiro, he talked about you and he was talking about how he thought you were so emotionally driven and
Even
all
though
the
I was
things or whatever.
see, and that's the thing that I did purposefully. I did that extremely intentionally, is that I used his exact techniques. Like, you can pull up a video of Charlie Kirk right now yelling at the guy from TYT on stage. There's so many outbursts that their side have, and I was just basically being a mirror to their actions in that space. And the way that now it's been like mutated with this, like, oh, well, you're trans, that's how women are emotional and all these things.
They're
To me, it's funny. It's funny because I'm like, what was it? Is it Matt Walsh, or is that the guy who posted me? The guy with the beard? Yeah, I think that's his name.
I hate him.
He's like, I could tell that this was a biological female
Oh, yeah, I
because
saw
of
that,
the-
yeah.
And see, the funny thing is, if I'm using the exact same techniques, then you basically just call Ben Shapiro a bitch. And second of all, the funniest part for me, and this is what I love being a white trans man in these really conservative spaces, because the intersectionality of me being twice his size and using the toxic masculine bullshit of like not letting somebody talking over them, that whole thing, that was all strategic, like chess on purpose, because I knew exactly how he approaches situations and I wanted to emasculate him in front of people so he knew what it felt like to be me constantly and my community constantly by the rhetoric that he puts out on all of this internet, you know, that we have to literally live by the consequences of it. Because right now, Blossom and I, we're literally like looking at all of this legislative stuff that's going on right now. And it's like bathroom bill, this bill, that
Gender
bill.
affirming care.
Like I can't piss outside. And here's the other thing on top of it.
Pee
I don't
in
even
the street.
take hormones. Like this is just me natch. Like I took testosterone for about 2 years. But the access to it is not actually as great as people actually want to say that it is. And because of that, I didn't want to stay on it permanently. So I'm living my life naturally this way, and I'm still just being hated for who I am in that existence. And with a combination of like abortion rights and trans rights being taken away from me as a trans person, as a trans man, there's like this silent, I hate to call it because I want to be respectful to Palestine too, but it's also like a genocide happening to trans people and specifically trans men too,
genocide.
because trans men, like the rights of abortion access and the rights of trans access, that intersectionality there is like someone like me could basically be erased by not even having access to that. And it's this crazy political sphere because now you've got people that are like debating my life for sport and making money and grifting off it, like Amala, like the Blair Whites, like the Buck, like Ben Shapiro, like Matt Walsh, like all these people that are causing all this intersectional harm that really experience no consequences. They just make money off it.
I hope all of
Exactly,
their
and they
children
don't-
are gay. I hope
Yeah.
all of their
They're
children
white.
are
And they don't
gay.
and they just don't have the intellectual capacity to even have a conversation
Yeah.
about it. Like
Or the economy. Like
course.
that's the other thing too, is like what did they spend? How much money? What was it, like almost $2 billion in advertisement through the Trump thing against just trans people?
Yeah.
When you could have so when does the economy matter? And it's like this constant dehumanization that we feel. And it's like we're being used for this, that, and the other to constantly fight each other. And it all comes back down to that corporate greed.
It's also so sad because like trans people are such a small minority.
1%.
That have been like created into such a massive issue just because they know that it is upsetting and it's a hot button and xenophobic issue. And it's like taking your identity and the life that you have to live on a daily basis and using it as a form of entertainment and as a way to get like extremist rhetoric pushed more.
Yeah.
That's because literally they have no policy for homelessness. They have no policy for the economy. They have no policy to make groceries cheaper. They have no policy to help anyone out.
Hey, that's not true. They have concepts of a plan.
And they just learned about what tariffs are. So
It's like
they're not president right now.
they have nothing to help people out. So what they do is they take a small piece of a community to say, let's put this community face forward for the next couple years until we can get out and just do all this stuff behind the scenes. And by the time they figure out that we're done, it's already too late.
It's true. They're arguing over 1% of the population while so many people in the population are suffering due to like
economic
issues
impacts.
that should be so bipartisan because they know that if they had to fight on those issues, they would lose.
Exactly.
So they go for
This is the distraction.
stuff. It's used as a distraction. Your identity has become a red herring. And that's such bullshit. That's just bullshit.
Yeah.
And then I was actually breaking down something for someone. I was arguing with someone in some comments, and I was like, okay. So
I've tried so hard not to do
I had to because it was just so stupid. I was like, okay, let's break this down. So if you deport 30% of your workforce, that means your farm hands, your builders, plus you add on tariffs to products that you take home, like electronics, food, anything imported, like anything metals, precious metals that go into your materials, because it would take years for us to produce that stuff here. So by the time the Trump administration ends, you wouldn't even have that stuff still. If we take all that and then couple that with the fact that now women are dying in Texas because they have such strict abortion acts. And then
OBGYNs are leaving Texas. There's like a max estimate.
And then the fact that you guys don't want to fund the schools anymore. You take all that, so you want to cripple the education system, make people's children
stupid.
Exactly.
It's their voting base that they're trying to create. Because what is the statistics? If you took out the non-college educated whites, the election would have looked completely different.
Exactly. So they're making.
So they're
trying to make people dumb. They don't want to teach them about critical race theory. They don't want to teach them about BK.
Because critical race theory would make people more smart.
They don't want to tell them the truth.
So imagine.
Well, because grandma was actually throwing the rocks back in the day, and they don't want to get caught with the photo. Like, let's be real. Like, the generation, it's only been like 60 years since all of this has happened. So there are people that are alive today.
The KKK burned a cross on my grandmother's lawn when she was 11 years old. Yeah. And she's like very alive. Arthritic, but alive.
I was born in a town that was only 15 minutes away from the area where they found Emmett Till's body in Mississippi. So, like, we're only 1 or 2 generations removed from all of that, to be quite honest.
That's why they put the photos in black and white. Mm-hmm. That's why they don't want to teach it in school. It happened a very long time ago. None of that stuff is still here.
But I tell people, imagine if Germany hadn't learned from their past. Mm-hmm. You cannot get to your future without tackling your past. Yes, in the past, America was very racist. Right now, you have people who are very racist because they haven't learned anything from it. You're not teaching them to learn from it. You're trying to cover it up and say it never happened. But I'm sorry, the survivors are here. Yes. They know better. And then on the top of when I was arguing in the comments too, I was like, you take all that, 30% of your workforce plus tariffs, you're not going to be able to afford a lot of things. Your housing is going to be in the gutter. And then all the stuff you thought you voted for, like you said, Trump's going to end the war. What war is this man going to end? I'm sorry, that's generational of Palestine and Israel for a long generations.
Which has already been accelerated.
And they just,
now.
they're
It sounds-
in ceasefire negotiations. Right?
Yeah.
It sounds like erasure. The more I'm hearing, it sounds like pure erasure. Because like if you take something out or someone out of something, you don't have to include them in, right? So because I'm thinking as a gay, Black cisgendered male, I'm listening to all. And I'm like, okay, because I have the same dog in the fight because but I have a different fight because I'm like I look at things a little bit differently. But I'm like it sounds like erasure. I'm like that's what it is. Mm-hmm. If you say, oh, you're not a person and you're not this, then it's carte blanche to say that then they're others. They're over here. They're not part of us. I mean, I think the biggest thing for Trump supporters specifically, they will reap what they sow. We all know that. I think the problem is they think that they are rich and white and untouchable.
Well, because they want to be.
Correct.
So
It's also
vote
marketed
with
to them
that.
as well, too.
Yes, you have an opportunity to join us as the rich white untouchables. All you have to do is be our pawns. But they don't give a fuck about you.
It's so scary because there are Latinos that voted for Trump.
Without realizing that their own families are going to be deported potentially.
Because they told them that it was criminals only, and now they're finding out what natural-born citizens, like they're understanding it as it's happening in real time. The same thing with tariffs. They had no clue what tariffs
But you know what? Honestly, I feel like, okay, the tariff thing is one thing. I understand, like, not understanding international trade laws. But I don't think that Trump has been very secretive about how he feels about immigrants.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all you really have to do is like open Twitter or open Instagram to get a basic idea of his rhetoric on immigrants. And if you still couldn't figure that out, like that's...
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no more X. No more X.
Yeah. I think it was just about
Blue sky, right?
Oh,
if I'm not mistaken, I felt like a lot of it had
I refuse to call it
with,
that.
I think it had a lot to do with the economy because, people coming over to this country and trying to make a better life for themselves. And for me, Latinos for Trump sounds like an oxymoron for me. But then I also, that's one group of people. I'm pissed at white women. I'm also pissed at trans people who talked so much stuff about Palestine, as they should have, but then talked about withdrawing or withholding their vote for Kamala and criticizing her for things that I don't think she 100% could control, because the reality of it is we're on a two-party system and all we have is Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Now, I have said on this podcast before in one of our previous episodes, you can have your criticism of Kamala. I don't care. But go show up and vote. Please go vote. Because at least with Kamala and the whole situation around Palestine, that could be worked on. But if you were somebody that criticized her and then you did not go to the polls and vote, and then you told your fan base to not go vote, I want to sincerely give you a big F you. Do you think Donald Trump is going to help the Palestinian people? Laughable. That is a joke. And unfortunately, there are some trans people in this community who deserve a Trump presidency.
Absolutely. There's gays, there are Latinos, there are trans, there are blacks, there are women who deserve this fucking fool. Like I was watching something with my
I just hate that we have to be there to learn their lesson with them, because I've already learned enough in this life.
I mean, I'm ready.
I just wanted to chill.
And people are talking about 4B, 4B. Why didn't we do that before the election?
Wait, say what?
The 4B movement?
So the 4B movement
started in Korea, right?
Yeah. And it's the 4 no's. It's no sex with men, no dating men.
Oh, yeah, I heard about
no marriage
that.
to men, no having kids with men. First of all, y'all saw my boyfriend. That's not happening. It's not happening.
Also, trans men exist. No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Shout out to the other trans men that need a wingman out there. Trans guys, I got you.
Like, my man voted for Kamala, so
the trans
I don't see why we got to do that.
If they voted for Kamala, baby, you get some pussy all day.
That's what I'm saying.
Baby, you can't get.
Okay, that's the new advertisement.
I'm looking. I want your
Show me your voter registration beforehand.
Okay, but the real tea though is
I need an STD and a voter registration. We're good.
But I feel like the tea is if they didn't vote for Kamala, they probably weren't getting any anyway.
Yeah. But then, let's be fair. Kamala only had 2 months to put something together
Thank you.
because Joe Biden pulled out when he did. And I always feel that her as a black woman, black women in general, and her being Southeast Asian as well too. Yes, it was a setup as well too, but black women have it so much harder, and it was so unfair that she was given so much little time to be able to make change. Now, I'm a firm believer Now, me personally, I'm very disappointed in the Biden administration for many different reasons. And a lot of that was around trans issues. Now, I don't know what Kamala Harris's administration was going to give us. We won't know now until the next time she runs. She's actually my birthday twin. We have the same birthday, and my dad has the same birthday as President Obama, and my mom has the same birthday as Marsha P. Johnson. So,
come on, it's in you.
You know, I've come from that family.
I was born on the day Joan of Arc was burned.
Holy shit.
Yes.
So, welcome back, Joan of Arc.
Lots of
I don't know.
That actually, that tracks.
I knew
like
she was
that.
light-skinned.
But I will say this, though. I was in Europe 2 weeks ago, and I also want to make room and make space for, learning and growing, too, because people have pulled me to the side about some of my posts that I've made about, like, my community. And I love my community to death, and I appreciate those sidebar conversations because I learned a lot more of why Joe Biden didn't want to call a ceasefire. And I appreciate my trans siblings for educating me more on that. Like, I'm not a part of this whole, what is it, blue MAGA? Like, it's all blue or nothing or whatever.
Oh, blue and
everything, on? Yeah. Everything is just so nuanced and it's so layered.
I'm sorry, what
and
the hell
it's
is
hard to
blue
get
and
down
on?
to.
Oh, there's more. Yes.
Yeah. I just thought it was like weird, but for that, I appreciate everybody who's kind of like inform me and educate me. And I understand the trans people that were frustrated with Kamala. And what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, but this is y'all what we're given. We're being put in a political chokehold that we cannot control, but only thing we can do is with our votes.
I don't think they should even put her up in
I think the thing is, the thing that trans people have to worry about right now is if you voted for Trump, you voted against at least having a voice.
Yeah.
Because now you're not even at the table. You're so silenced that you're just mute. And there's a video I just seen today on Instagram. I think Perez Hilton had posted it today. It was a trans, gays, all that, just talking about they're conservative and this is why they're conservative. I'm like, you guys are conservative, but you're conservative with the idea that you have a voice in that space.
I feel like
I
a
think
lot of
even
the times
Ben
it's
Shapiro
rooted in
does that.
racism, though, when it comes to that, like within our community. Like, let's be real. I see a lot of trans people that kind of get into this pocket of like, I'm trans, I can't be racist. It's like, girl.
Well, they support the Blair Whites and the Buck Angels and even the dolls and all the things or whatever. But it's so funny because in my opinion, Blair White is so in proximity to whiteness that she doesn't, in my opinion,
white.
and even the doll as well. Those girls, in my opinion, they try to look so Eurocentric or whatever, but it's like, girl, you're people of color, and the thing is, white supremacy is going to ditch you and
the Omelas and the Clarence Thomases.
Yo,
and the what's his name, Myron Gaines.
Oh
they
my
don't
God.
like you.
You
will never be them. Candace Owens, you will never be.
She's not allowed in Sweden or something, right?
You will
Australia and New Zealand. They banned her. They said they didn't want her there.
Yeah, they made an example out of Candace, and it was really important to see that. Then on top of that, she's a darker skinned woman. On top of that,
it's so sad because it's like, Pookie, they're using you. They're using you.
For the black men out there too, because I'm the only black man here. I want to say this about the black men, in particular to like, I guess this voting process is like, if you see yourself in Donald Trump and you don't see yourself in a black woman, even with South Asian mixed, if you don't see yourself in her, it's sad. It's like my aunties, my sisters, my friends look like Kamala. I don't know nobody who looked like Donald Trump. I can't relate to him. Like, even if I was like a Republican or whatever the case is, I can't see myself in somebody like him. I can't see myself being like, oh yeah, that's the one. Let me go. As a black person.
My dog pooped something that looked like Donald Trump.
I think people forget how powerful misogyny really is, though, because that's the thing is like, I think this election really showed people like, hey, misogyny is a real thing, because what that statistic about where people go on a plane and they actually prefer a male pilot over a female, like, it's like things like that we're conditioned to as a society. And just thank you for even acknowledging that point, because it is a good point to bring up, because it's been really interesting to see the different communities and who voted for who and why they voted for their particular candidate, because a lot of the people that we know that voted, it's like they voted against their own self-interest, most of the folks, unless you're like a cis white male that's affluent and you voted for Trump, like, I hate to break it to you, but you're going to be hit in some way, shape, or form by this administration rather quickly, either through tariffs, whether through laws, whether through et cetera.
But everyone's going to get hit with it, even affluent white men.
And
Like,
respectfully, Donald Trump got convicted of 34 felonies. What needs to happen for
Was he fully
rehabilitated?
convicted for all that?
Yeah.
Good.
And technically, he did the insurrection too, which he's not allowed to run for president. So I don't understand how that works in the Constitution. But I guess,
Since he has been convicted of 34 felonies, what needs to happen is on these job applications, that little question that asks if you're a convicted felon needs to be dropped.
Yeah, I agree.
And we need to give more of a chance to rehabilitated convicted felons to find work, to find housing, and to be able to live in this world, because y'all allowed Donald Trump, again, who was convicted, to become president of the United States and be dismissed of all of his crimes. That's the one thing that needs to happen within this whole administration.
Speaking of convicted felons, his cabinet is insane.
It's like pedophile.
It's like what? It's 3. It's 4
sexual.
pedophiles?
Yeah.
I made a list. I've been compiling a list of all the people on his cabinet who have been accused of sexual
It's like a
misconduct.
requirement at this point.
It's like 8 of them at this point. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like RFK is just a joke. It's just a joke.
The bear head or whatever story.
He
like,
left a
what is
dead bear
happening?
in Central Park. I've been like deep diving RFK. He works with he has these 2 nonprofit organizations that have been working with African countries and that they have been responsible for spreading misinformation about vaccines that were intended to stem the spread of the AIDS virus. Yes.
Wow.
So this man has literally been facilitating
PrEP too.
the spread of AIDS
He's
in
trying to get
Africa.
rid of it. He's basically, you're absolutely right. No, he's coming for PrEP too. He's trying to come for the whole like medical industry in a way that is completely like, he's not a doctor.
He's
just
anti-medicine.
Exposure
He
prophylaxis.
says Wi-Fi causes cancer. He said that they're putting chemicals in the water to make people trans. Like,
What?
He said that vaccines cause autism. He is crazy. He's criminally insane.
Yeah.
And now he's in charge of human health. And it's like, you guys, like, even if you are supportive of the policies that Trump has, how could you possibly rationalize these people doing anything?
Is it Tulsi Gabbard? I don't know much
Ever.
about her.
She's a Russian asset?
She likes to glaze dictators a lot. A lot.
I love that. I mean, that's the other thing too about like a lot of this administration, and it feels like it's anti-American, and it feels like this Russian psyop takeover KGB thing where it's like, when I look at the American flag now, like it, granted, lots of, propaganda as a kid, especially as someone with the intersectionality of a white kid growing up in America. Like I had a lot of privileges in that space, so I will acknowledge that. But I used to look at the American flag and be like, oh my God, like dreams. Oh my God, I'm going to try. I'm going to be a small business owner. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. But now, like when I look at the American flag, it just purely looks like hate because of the people that have now perpetuated themselves behind that flag and everything that it represents. And that was, again, to my point with Ben Shapiro, it's like, to me, as the person who's basically like, dude, why are you fighting for the Nazis? Like,
It's
what's
hilarious.
going on?
It's hilarious.
While he's wearing like
Dude,
a spiritual religious hat that suffered from Nazi persecution. It's like, and here's
And you know
the
what's
extra
so
weird
funny?
thing. I'm
Nick
German.
Fuentes
So it's like,
literally-
what is happening? It feels like the tables have turned. And I'm telling a Jewish man, why are you fighting for this type of propaganda that is harming people when like the idea of like, I guess because it's a 90s kid thing and I did fall for the propaganda, but why can't we fall for the propaganda of what America once allegedly was supposed to be about? Like, bring everybody in. Let's be diverse. Let's build this. Let's do some technology shit. Let's get flying cars. Let's do all of that. It's turned into this like weird ass, like Handmaid's bullshit.
Nick Fuentes literally, when the debate with Ben Shapiro came out, this was after the stuff with Aiden Ross
Oh,
and
really?
him. I'd already like talked a lot about Nick Fuentes and how I didn't like him in this video.
Mhm.
And when the video with Ben Shapiro dropped the next week, he goes, by the way, he's gay, right? Before I get into this.
Oh, if I were, and
like,
also,
I know y'all don't claim
I
him,
keep-
but
I keep-
like,
I don't claim him, but also I was getting vibes from Ben Shapiro.
Wait. Really?
And I'm gonna call it. I was getting
He
vibes.
is a makeup artist, but like not.
No. Something about it when I was just eye to eye with him, I was like, that's a gay man. I don't know why.
I think he'll pay for the girls.
Because
Nick Fuentes
remember,
is actually gay.
I think he'll pay for the girls.
Yes.
He'll pay for the girls. He'll pay the girls.
I think he is a fan of the dolls.
Yes, he is.
And I think that he uses this as an outlet. And the thing that
I think Nick Fuentes is a-
listen. Here's one thing. Here's one
Okay,
thing.
look.
Girl, I was wearing this ugly outfit.
Okay, I go to Pride every year. Like, I work heavily with Pride. Like, I'm telling you, board of directors, like some of the stuff we set up, Blossom and I, we work with the cities, both of them, LA and WeHo, right? So we know what goes on in Pride. Grindr has never crashed at Pride. Why did it crash at the RNC? Let's think about that. Like, you and I have been in some of
Were
the
you
most
all there?
major gay events where it's like the gayest event in the world possible that we are participating in. And Grindr didn't crash, but it crashed at the
DragCon?
RNC. No, it's never crashed there. It's only crashed at the RNC. So it's like, there is so much tea there behind a lot of the hate that I feel like it's like this projection shit because
wanna
they're
go
really
there?
part of the
The gay
community.
No,
Republicans
but I
like
know
chocolate.
Nick Fuentes. When the video of
They
me
love
and
a
Ben Shapiro
chocolate.
dropped,
Yeah.
you know what he commented on Twitter? Tell me if this isn't the gay shit. He said, "She ate that for real." I have never in my life heard a straight man say that ever. Not a single time. Not a singular time. I'm sorry. And I don't want to put someone's sexuality on them. Like whenever he's ready to come out, he's ready to come out. But like, boo boo.
You know,
Closet is clear at this point. We could see.
But you know what I'm manifesting and setting the intention on? Let me debate Caitlyn Jenner. That's
Oh.
what I want to do.
Yeah,
Although
she-
I don't think she's gonna debate.
No, she's-
even
Yeah.
that.
Well, you know, I was on her show, like in what season one of her show.
She has a
Did a
show.
Oh, yeah. I was in IMK.
I guess it wasn't a very good show.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Never heard of that one. No.
I don't know.
Uh-oh. Lost relevancy there,
like
Kate.
she's been
Put the
talking
fries
a lot of noise lately. And the thing is, I was reading.
She said she's running for governor, right?
well, I was
Governor of what?
I was
California.
reading
Lazy
Oh,
Town?
no.
I was reading an article about her today. I think she was saying something about the Trump administration was hypocritical because she uses the women's restroom in Mar-a-Lago. Am I saying that right?
Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, Mar-a-Lago. See, that's how much I don't care about that.
Uses the women. I think that all of these people genuinely think that they can be one of the good ones.
Yes.
And the tea is there really are no good ones. You can either just be a pawn
Thank
or an enemy.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
they're using you. It's
It's a
not.
Oh,
They don't
They
have
To
don't
oppress.
care
like
about
Waka
you.
Flocka.
If they fundamentally do not like see
Baby.
value in you as a person specifically because of a part of your identity, why would they make an exception for only you? You're not special. You're not that just like different. Like
Yeah.
it's not
like,
you.
Amber Roses in the Walk of
And you know what? Let me tell you.
Ray
my
J.
God.
I'm
Not
gonna
Amber
say this for
Rose.
everybody on the internet. Anybody want to hear this? Waka Flocka, you made your choice. You made your decision. You made your tea. You made your bed. Lie in it.
What
You
did Waka Flocka do?
Girl.
What?
Wait,
Little
you do
tall
got to
for
explain
that
it for the
bed.
comments.
Okay.
What happened?
So Waka Flocka decided that he wanted to support Donald Trump. You know that he does not like our community, the black community at all. Let's take out the trans, let's take out the gay. He doesn't support the black community.
He does.
Not in the way that you think he does. You may think he does, but he does not. To say out your mouth that you want to give police immunity to police and then not understand that not all police are bad, but there are some bad ones out there that if you give police immunity, guess what? They're policing the black communities and Latin communities harder and they're taking us out faster. But Amber Rose also. I loved Amber Rose. I went to all her events. I
You did the
actually
slut walk?
I didn't go to that one. No.
Yeah,
She said
I
with the
did
women-
all her slut walks. I participated. I was a volunteer on all her slut walks. Amber Rose was the sweetest spirit I have ever met. I don't know what happened in these past couple years to hurt her so bad that she had to do this.
What did Amber Rose do? I used to love
You didn't
she's
see
a
her big
hardcore
old
Trumper.
tattoo going on
Oh,
stage
she
and
got
talking.
Yeah.
Girl.
that she's like a white woman now or something. Like,
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I did not ever really know what race Amber Rose was.
Yeah.
I
She
met her
whooped
mom.
Jocelyn
I
in
met
that
Amber
episode,
Rose's
though.
mom.
She did.
I gagged. I was like, ooh,
Yeah,
I can fight.
I've literally met Amber Rose's
Don't
mom.
feel it.
Amber Rose's mom is so sweet too. I sat with her mom for a second and talked to her. And Amber Rose, for me, she was so sweet. I don't know what happened in this time for her to go this route. She's saying she's protecting her boys. And I get that. You want to protect your children. And I get that for any person, any parent out there. You want to protect your children. Right. But this ain't the way to do it.
No
this
way.
was never the way to do it.
And whose expense?
No, wait.
Right?
Well, that's what I was saying too about I was saying I don't see myself in Donald Trump. It's like, even if I have options, right? Because we only have 2 options. We have more, but we know what's
Don't
up.
forget Jill Stein.
Jill Stein is a mess. She's messy.
And so is her running mate. But so you, I don't see. So if someone's
She
like,
does way too much.
I have 6 siblings, right?
Way too much.
I have
Girl.
like 5 siblings, right?
Yeah.
And I tell my siblings like this. I'm like, if you're not going to vote, I'm like, let's imagine we're at a restaurant, right? If somebody's like trying to attack me and my gay black ass, right? My siblings are going to fight that person because we're a team, right? So to my siblings, I'm like, even if you don't like either one, Kamala or Donald Trump, pick the person that's going to fight with me, not fight me. Donald Trump is fighting me. Pick the person, even if you don't care about any of this, pick the person that you can relate to the most.
Are your siblings not black as well?
No, they're from Wisconsin, and I'm
conservative.
I have some Trumpers in my family. I can't to say I don't would be a fallacy. I know they'll never tell me because they know better, but I know that. I know that I didn't go home because I can't be around
that dry ass turkey.
No way, because I read down to the ground, and I can't. I'm not the one. You know what I'm saying? Like people are like, it's just politics. No, it's not.
It's not just politics. It's like daily life.
You're not going to sit in my face and vote for Donald Trump. You're not going to do it. If you have voted for Donald Trump and I don't know about it, that's good. We're good. But if I know about it, you're not gonna,
but you know what? I told all my friends who voted for Trump, I said this: I'm not going to disown y'all. I will. I'm going to keep y'all because I love y'all. Y'all my friends. I know y'all voted out of a simple, this is what y'all voted for. I respect that. I respect that of anyone. You have voted for a certain aspect of something that you needed or something that you wanted. But as these years roll around, bitch, I'm going to call you every day and tell you fuck you every time politics happen.
See, I'm not going to say fuck you. I'm just going to not be around you. If I'm getting jumped by somebody and you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to take the person's side because you said something crazy. No. You come fight with me. There's no choice for me. There's no choice. For me, it was like Donald Trump he only does things, even if you are a white man who has money, he doesn't care about you. He cares about getting your vote or your money. After he's done with you, he's going to throw you away.
Donald Trump is like clinically sociopathic.
He even said it out loud, like, I just want your vote. Like
he
doesn't have any black people in his cabinet.
Not a single.
No, wait, didn't he just do one yesterday?
Housing.
Yeah. Do you know the theory on that? So the last time he was here in office, all right? People are theorizing that because it says urban housing, that's why Trump always appoints a black person to that position.
Oh, for sure.
Because the last time he was in, he did the exact same thing.
With Ben Carson.
He might as well call it token black job. Like, I'm looking at it. It's Scott Turner is Secretary for Department of Housing and Urban.
Oh, him.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks
so because
like
urban is in the name.
He looks like a
Uncle Tom.
Stop.
Exactly.
Oh, look at that smile, honey.
Uncle Tom.
Look at that smile. Look at that.
The light-skinned Uncle Ruckus.
Oh, stop. Not Ruckus.
There was this guy I think on TikTok or something. He was like, he was a MAGA. He was wearing the MAGA, had this black guy. He was like, I can't believe they did this to me.
I know he's talking about.
He's all like, they love me. I love my MAGA family. I'm like, are you?
No,
like,
they don't.
He said, you'll never be one of us. I just want you for your vote. And he was crying because he couldn't go home to his family for Thanksgiving. He had an update. Oh, yeah, no, I followed him just to see what was going on.
Oh, yeah. Mama kicked that behind right on out.
I even reposted some of his video on my...
Very investigative on our set. He's our private detective.
That's
right here.
Hilarious.
But
I found this one gay guy who was like very pro-Trump, and he was like, "Oh, my friends are cutting me off." I was like, "Really? Go figure."
Yeah.
I wonder.
That's
why.
another thing too. Is like, okay, so you're going to vote for these type of policies. You're going to say this, that, and the other, and then turn around and get mad that we don't want to associate with you.
Well, because
that is confusing as hell.
It is personal. It's
Thank
like
you.
My uterus is personal, but that's why it's so disgusting. Because I feel like politics have like the foundation of bodily autonomy is not being respected. So it is personal in a way that politics shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like politics should not be this personal because the things that we're debating just should not even be on the table. We should not be talking about basic human rights. And the minute it gets to that level, it gets to a level of personal that now I got to cut you off and now we can't be homies.
Yeah.
When like realistically, it shouldn't be that way. We should be allowed to disagree because the things that we're disagreeing on are not such basic threats to our survival.
It should be like an infrastructure bill of like, how much are we spending on the bridge? I don't know.
Tax plan. Well, I like that. Like that is non-personal politics, and we can debate that. And when we're done with that conversation, go back to being friends.
I think what's happened is to that point, because I understand that, because I feel, number one, there's Trump supporters here. And then
don't point at me.
There's Trump supporters over here. And then
I just don't want it on a clip all of a sudden. It's like Trump supporters over here. So you got to be intentional, okay?
Yeah. So there's Trump supporters here, and then there's more of like the Republican Party here, because over 200 Republicans were going to vote for Kamala. And I think to your point, what's happened is we've pushed past it because we've gotten so deep in detriment with Trump that now if you support anything that he's done, being a convicted felon, being accused and convicted of SA, rape, all the things, trigger warning, y'all, I'm sorry, all of those things or whatever, you have no morality. Because at this point, this is not about voting. I understand Republicans who voted Republican because they truly want to see changing the economy, but they hate Trump, don't support all of that. That's fine. That's what
exactly. I can work with that. When it was like Obama, Mitt Romney, like I feel like there was so much less. Like people were still able to be friends with conservatives and cordial in the same way that Ben Shapiro kind of could do that. Like, and that's kind of why I appreciated the way he was on set, because I missed being able to be professional and cordial, because it has become, as political extremism has just gotten so much worse in the last 20, 30 years. It's become this environment where it's like we're not just arguing about taxes and tariffs and things that the government should be involved in. It's like, are kids getting shot in schools? Are people allowed to commit SA and then hold public office? Now I'm judging your moral opinions on SA and assault and my uterus and all this other random shit that just has no place in politics. But it's the only way to get people involved in politics in a way. And they want the votes. So they keep pushing these issues that really have no place.
I told everybody, listen, if you voted for no abortions, okay, well, I hope you and his mistress are very happy together. I hope that baby shows up just in time for you. And then when that baby shows up, don't you say not a word. Oh, no abortion. I'm so sorry.
Well, simultaneously, they want to take away services for when that kid is born to actually take care of them, so that it's like...
Stop the cap.
Oh, no. So, let me tell you, when that happens, I want every woman who said no abortions to now say no child support.
It's just no one's business.
Or child support at conception.
Oh, child support at conception. Ooh. Let's keep it.
So that's what I wanted in the Ben Shapiro debate. I was so upset because I never got to talk about abortion, which is my biggest topic.
Go ahead.
That's where I wanted to start the debate, because I feel like with Charlie Kirk, it got so caught up in what is a fetus, but neither of us are scientists. You're not a biologist. I'm not a biologist. You not nobody's gyno. I don't know if you could even find the clip. We both know that we're not about that. So let's actually talk about, practically. Okay, dog, we can't have abortions. Nobody can have abortion. What about the 12-year-old girl who was essayed by her stepfather? What about any of the 65,000 women who were impregnated by rape this year alone? So now they're supposed to raise this child with a rapist who's in prison currently? Who's paying for that child's medical bills? Who's paying for the delivery of that child? If that child is born prematurely, that can be hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills. Who's paying for those?
I want to talk about this. I was my best friend, shout out to Matthew, my best friend and I, had a mutual friend of ours, and he's a cisgendered straight male, and we were watching a television show, and there's two things I want to say. He made a comment about he was like, well, if I have a kid, I don't want my daughter to be in the bathroom with a trans person. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. Your daughter is more likely to be essayed by you than any trans person I've ever met. Based off the stats, right? Your daughter is more likely to be hurt, molested, and assaulted by you than any trans person, number one. Number two, we were watching Tori Kelly. There's these song association videos on YouTube where they say a song or a word, and you have to sing a song to relate to that word. It was Tori Kelly. You all know Tori Kelly, right? Gorgeous.
Nope.
She was on TV, and my friend and I, we were all talking, and the same person goes to her, and he goes, oh, is she trans or is she, he didn't say, he said, is she trans or is she something else? And I was like, why are you asking? Like, what? He's like, oh, just because I wanted. I'm like, you thought that person on TV was attractive. It doesn't matter what they are. Just why can't you just like, you were attracted to that person, and you were with two gay guys, and you had to confirm with us that person on TV was a cisgender woman to make your ego feel better. Do you know what I'm saying? Like to make you feel good because you feel like that person's hot, and if they were trans, you'd be like, oh no, they're not. They're not hot anymore. It's like, but they were. They were before you found out. You know what I'm saying?
You know what gets me?
Sorry.
NLE Choppa. He actually is the most solid straight man rapper I have ever heard speak. He said, I don't get down, like I don't have sex with trans women or men, but I support them and I respect them. Mm. That's how you're supposed to be. You're supposed to respect everybody. You're supposed to be like, oh, I don't support them because they're this and that. Like, support everyone, love everybody. They support your music. They support your career. And even though, like, I feel like if he didn't have a career, he was raised right. Because whatever his mama did or his dad did to make him so secure in himself to be like, hey, they support me. The gay community support me. I support them. That's a real one.
No, I agree with you. That to me is peak masculinity because, like, if you can turn around and look at a situation and go, like, it doesn't affect me because he's got no energy and no, meat in the game, so to speak. So not to be a pun, but like it doesn't affect his reality.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. No. But like it truly doesn't affect. And like, again, like, yes, I'm trans, but also like I'm still a straight, white man. And I'm not looking at like anybody else's identity that it goes like, oh, that's affecting me. I got my wife and that's all that's concerning me. For me, I'm like, okay, where is that rooted in? That's rooted in like, you've got probably some closeted thoughts. You've got something going on there that is drawing you to the queer community in some shape or form because the people that are not queer have no energy for it, don't know what's going on.
Or you just don't get any pussy and you're really mad about that. Like, I do feel like a lot of men are really, really mad about their empty
because all the trans men are taking it away. That's why.
I think it's the same. They're mad that they don't have jobs. You're not unemployed.
Shane from the L word to the lesbians. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you're not pussyless because trans men are taking your women. You're not unemployed because fucking immigrants are taking your jobs. You are a loser and nobody likes you. Like, that's the issue.
And it's not weird because them. The same red pill culture is like coddling their incel shit.
That's the thing, because there's so many insecurities, and instead of facing those, because it is so hard to face your insecurities and to realize that there's an issue internally, they just externalize that onto women,
everybody,
and trans people, and LGBTQ, and immigrants, and anyone who's not white. Like, it's scapegoating of the highest order. And it's so sad because so many of these podcasters and blah, blah, blahs and Aiden Rosses and Joe Rogans of the world could really actually be role models for young men.
100%.
And could actually,
get them to tie their shoes,
because I do feel for them. Like, it is hard. Life is hard. A lot of men are dealing with mental health issues that they don't have an outlet for. They don't have the sense of community that women and the LGBTQ have.
Exactly.
And they need that. But they're using xenophobia and hatred to create that community instead of internal love and working on yourself.
Brotherhood.
Because that supports them. That's the thing. And we've had this conversation so many times. Like, as a Black trans woman who's more liberal, the conservatives will support the trans conservative more than the liberals will support me. It's like we didn't support our own.
When the video
they're ready to criticize you for this, that, and the other.
When the video
the same way that Kamala was. Think about the Kamala and Trump thing. Trump was allowed to do whatever the fuck Trump wanted to do. Kamala made, granted, a lot of mistakes and even some stuff that we found on the podcast that her fucking team just admitted to. We'll talk about that too. But it's like that same, like, it's not an equal playing field. And it's purposefully not an equal playing field.
It's not. And they really do. The cost of admission is so much lower for them. You just have to be willing to kind of neglect your morals and enable like really vicious behavior. And if you're able to do that, you can have a sense of community, which for a lot of people is just more valuable than strangers they don't know.
Oh, the funny thing is, I was actually watching this video, and maybe you can help me as a Black man. So I watched this video, And they went to a barbershop, and these black dudes were talking about Kamala didn't stand on business. Shawty wasn't about nothing. I'm like, this woman stood on so much business to give you equity in the community that did not want to give you that equity. Now you have a man who does not want to give you equity alone. He wants to add more debt to you. So where was the stand on business for him? You're putting so much pressure on this woman to stand on business so much. But the qualifications for this man are in hell. And you just don't care. Like, you didn't even look him in the eye and say, well, he didn't stand on anything, but I still voted for him. Yeah. You can at least say that. Say, I like, say, this was a woman. I didn't even care. I just voted for him because he's a man. And it sounded like he was doing something good. Or my funniest thing was, I hear from so many black people, he gave us stimulus checks, so I'm going to vote for him.
Yes. Even though it actually came from Obama's fucking bankroll. Most people don't even know how the government actually works. He just put his signature on it, too. That whole thing, when it was coming out, he was fighting against the secretary because it was supposed to have their signature on it. He's like, no, I want mine on it, so I get the credit for it. Even though the money, how it was actually originally raised, was from Obama's fucking presidency. That's why. That's how it was in the coffers for us to even pull from, was because of the economy that he inherited from Obama.
Yeah.
He inherited such a beautiful economy from Obama and basically pissed it to shit, just like he did with his business 6 times.
But Republicans tend to do that anyway, and then Democrats come back in the next 4 years or 8 years.
But that's what I like with the conversations about abortion and with the trans rights and even with the border wall. Like, Trump spent $15 billion to build 80 miles of new wall
that they can just hop right over.
Like,
to be honest.
80
they just
miles.
showed, like,
also, guys, it's a wall. Like, the fuck? It's a wall. Like, this is not
high tech.
I wanted to go this shit. Help me out, guys. During the Summer Olympics in Paris, there was a boxer, a woman boxer named Khalif.
Amani Khalif.
Yes.
To your point about the going back to the black man in the barbershop thing, it's like when that whole thing came up, I remember very specifically. I watched this and I was like, they were like, oh, a man is fighting a woman, and I was like, okay, whatever, right? So I'm watching the story unfold. And then it goes to a man fighting a woman, then it turns to a trans person, then it turns to all these things. And I'm like, okay, got it. The story went by a week, and I just waited for a week to go by to kind of get everything before I made any kind of assessment. Then I was like, I saw all these heterosexual men in the comments saying, that's a man, man beating a woman. I was like, well, when you finish tweeting, you're going to go beat up your girlfriend, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your uncles, your fathers. They're going to go beat their girlfriends, and they are men. So I don't understand how you can go and do the same things that you're claiming someone else who was an actual. It was
she is biologically
cisgender woman. Yeah,
like what is going on
from
here?
a Muslim country, by the way, that doesn't even practice.
Yes, she could have been killed.
Exactly, she would have been murdered.
Yes,
there's so many layers to it.
I think she's suing.
She is. I think she was suing to make money. Yeah,
so
she deserves it.
I think if anyone should sue.
To what you said, which is so important, transphobia affects all women.
Yep.
Wait. Okay. Really quickly.
Literally.
Speaking of suing. Just some good news. Have you guys heard about what happened to Rudy Giuliani?
No.
Yeah.
Girl, give us the tea.
It was amazing.
Okay.
We don't know. Yeah.
So I'm from New York, New Jersey. I've known who Rudy Giuliani is my entire life. I grew up in a family that hated that nigga. Anyway, so Rudy Giuliani, so obviously he was Trump's lawyer for a while into it, and he was making all these claims about election fraud in Georgia, specifically these two, I think they're both black women, poll
workers.
Poll workers were doing fraudulent things with the votes, all this stuff. The election is stolen, blah, blah, blah. These two women have ended up suing him for defamation.
Oh, Alex Jones situation?
And they won.
Oh.
He owes them like, I forget how many hundreds of millions of dollars he owes them. But however much money it is,
140 million.
Yes, okay.
Damn.
He can't pay it. He can't pay it. So they're snatching
He lost
all
his apartment, his car,
He's in collections,
Yes.
I believe.
temper.
Yes, they're snatching all of his shit, and he's been in court. He has his first lawyer dropped him. He has a new lawyer now. He's been in court advocating for himself. His lawyer's on the side having a heart attack.
Oh my God.
He's been just screaming at the judges,
crazy.
just losing his mind.
So he got chewed up and spit out by Trump.
Yes, he did. And that's the
just like
part.
what his cabinet's going to happen
just
to
like
now.
all of these
honestly.
people. And just like Mike Pence, like all of these people.
All these people, they never learn. This man, what did he do to his cabinet the last time?
Well, they're doing it on purpose.
And then what's going to happen after they've done all this crap to the country for 4 years? The Republicans need to watch out, because after these 4 years of all these things happening, every person, every state is going to eat them alive if they do not get in front of this and control it. That is the hard fact right here. If Republicans took this 4 years and actually did something good with it, that'd be a really big thing for them.
And we're rooting for you. I hope you do. I don't want to live in a horrible country.
Right.
Yeah.
I think with greed and power, they don't want to let that go.
No. There it is.
I feel communities like the trans community, women, immigrants, we're very powerful communities. And I feel that when you are I feel that when you are in a place of power and you feel threatened by groups like this, you're going to do what it takes to keep what you have, because you have a scarcity mindset. And I don't know if Republicans, particularly Trumpers, because this is a whole different type of thing. This is not like George Bush or something like that. This is Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And the reality of it is we're going to be in war coming up real soon. And, I'm an astrologer, and I can tell you a lot of things that's happened astrologically. This is just my opinion. I do think there's going to be more attempts on Donald Trump's life. I do think that it's going to be a race war. And I think that this country needs to prepare for it.
What the hell am I supposed to do? My little light skin ass? No.
Yeah.
Get ready. That's what you better start.
Yeah.
Get ready.
But I also see a lot of communities like the immigrant community, the trans community, so many different communities that a lot of us intersect with, stepping into their power. I see that as well, too. Like, I'm a firm believer. We survived 4 years of Trump already, so it's not like we can't do it again. It's just that this time, a lot of us are exhausted.
We survived 4 years of Trump, though, and 400 years of slavery.
Yes.
And however many years of
we
Jim
are
Crow.
tired.
It's been enough.
We're exhausted. Yeah.
Honestly, a lot of my friends and family are looking at leaving the U.S. I know a lot of people are looking at moving to California. Like, housing here is about to become a lot harder. Like, for this state.
It's already impossible.
I kind of want California to secede. I would be very pro California seceding.
I mean, we would become one of the largest economies.
It'd be sick. Honestly, it'd be sick as fuck. I like all my family would move here.
I would stay.
My family on the East Coast, they would just come. I would stay. I would not try to stay in America.
Hopefully we'll take better care of the people that are already here, that are already struggling with homelessness and things like that. Because California is that state where there's a lot of homelessness here.
But then we got to now deal with our border of like, we have our own separate border. Are American citizens allowed to come into California and vice versa? Like, and I feel like that's how the war would start. Somebody's going to try to secede. Like, I don't know what the hell I would do if there's a race war. I would probably leave. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I'd be that helpful.
I mean, it's already happening.
It's happened here in 1992 with the riots in LA. Like, it happened. Yeah. So it's, I mean, I was a baby when it happened, but also like from looking back at the footage, that was an intense time. You had people up on like roofs just shooting random people. Like it seems like we are as different communities though, and different intersectionalities. And that's why I wanted to be really intentional about bringing everybody from Jubilee on this episode to talk about some of this stuff, because it's like the way that the media, especially mainstream media, has put us out here as like woke is this, woke mind virus, like this weird idea that these old white men that are losing control of the world won't just die already and won't just let the next generation actually make their impression on society. It's like in the 70s and the 80s, these folks were running around doing this, that, and the other, fucking and ecstasy and this, that. It's like it's our time. Like we're in our 30s now. You guys are a little bit younger too as well, but like but it's like it's time for the older generations to actually pass the torch, and their refusal to pass the torch, like the way that the boomers have fucked over the economy, the way that every ladder has been pulled up, and the thing that's crazy, they're fucking themselves over too, because like with folks like Trump, again, Medicare is being talked about and discussed. The amount that it costs for in-home services for somebody that's 80 plus is ridiculous. They lose their life savings in like 6 months.
Yes.
Some of these people. So then on top of it, millennials are going to have to deal with taking care of their parents. Like the economy is just in this shit show spiral. And there's so much more that we can do as a society. And it just seems like these people are these corporate interests come in, do all this weird fuck shit. We as a society have to deal with the consequences of it. We end up all fighting each other for this, that, and the other reasons. It's fighting over scraps. When meanwhile, if we actually can refocus our energy and look at like, hey, these are the folks that are making these laws. Because like, quite frankly, after this election, I am really upset with the Democrats as well. It's like, it's both sides. Like, it's almost like, and to the Blue Anon thing that we were talking about earlier.
What is that?
Yeah.
So there's a whole theory right now, and I have to say allegedly a lot because I want to make sure that allegedlys are in there for this moment.
Yes.
Basically, there's a whole recount situation where there's been a lot of people that are coming in and saying, hey, these numbers don't look right when it comes to this polling and that polling and that polling. And I will admit some of the stuff that I have seen, I've been kind of afraid to talk about it because I don't want to look like how the other side looked, how they were like, the election was stolen, but let's have the conversation because some of the things that are starting to pop up with some of these like data scientists that wrote a letter to Kamala about like a duty to serve or something along those lines where it's like, hey, these election numbers don't match. Like, I forgot, I think it was Pennsylvania that they were looking at. Yeah. And the weird thing is if you look at the stats for the Democratic votes, like it does this weird curvature thing where it looks very AI. And then you start to look at the other counties in the same area and it does the same thing for the Democrats where it goes like up and dips down. Meanwhile, if you look at the Republican ones, it's like it's flooded here, it's flooded there. There's some votes that have come out where like they only voted, like, I'm not sure the exact number. I'm going to probably misquote it, but it was a very large number. Maybe it was 70, maybe it was 10,000, but it was a very large batch that just voted for Donald Trump in certain areas where there were ballots that didn't have any down ballot votes at all. Yeah, no, trust. Blossom knows this because I will go into as many rabbit holes to try to find the little grains of truth in all of the crazy internet red pill shit because I still want to know.
Conspiracy theory, but it's sometimes hard.
It's hard not to.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't freaking trust the government. And I feel like, honestly, I've hated this trend of like people trusting Trump and politicians. I think the Democratic Party is still very skeptical of a lot of politicians, even on the Democratic side.
Yeah.
But I feel like conservatives recently have just not been as skeptical of politics.
They just turned it off.
Like they're starting to take everything he says at face value. And it's like,
meanwhile,
why?
say don't believe it, that he's going to do everything he says. It's
and
like,
now the news is fake, but the politicians are telling the truth.
Yeah.
And that's like, when the hell did that happen? What? Politicians have been lying since like politics existed in this country, since we've had a two-party system. It is un-American not to be skeptical of politicians.
Yeah.
Always question.
Laura Trump is that Laura Trump? Is that somebody that's
Or Laura
someone's son?
McMahon?
And that she's going to try to run? Are you talking about
no,
that?
she was on Breakfast Club a couple weeks ago.
She called him Lord Trump.
Lord, what's her? It's Eric. It's one of his daughters.
What's his name? His daughter-in-law.
Ivanka Trump.
No, it's one of Donald Trump's son's daughters, wives. Laura Trump. I think it's.
Oh no.
It could.
We'll figure it out in the comments. The comments will let us know.
And they were like she was saying some crazy shit. Not crazy thing, but she was saying like, "Oh, Donald Trump is just so lovely," and I was like, "And you had Charlamagne the God, Envy, and I don't know who was interviewing her, but I was like." Y'all letting her say this? Like,
people treat him like he's not a
soft gloves.
People treat him like he's Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Like he is worshipped in a way that I have not really seen a politician worshipped.
Like they have him like Jesus of paintings and stuff.
He has a Bible.
Y'all are Christian.
Oh,
you're not supposed to have false idols.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's her name? That's
Laura Trump.
Thank you.
Laura
Thank
Trump.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was Laura.
She was just the way she was talking about him, and it was she had a chance to be honest. Like no one's perfect. None of us are perfect here.
Yeah.
So if someone was like, I can criticize Kamala all day long, but I'm still going to vote for her because she's the best option.
I see why she can't, but he can.
They let her go fly.
That's the other thing too, is a lot of these people that are supposed to be these mainstream media folks are not even, they're using kid gloves when it comes to their side, but when it comes to our side, it's like knife to the neck. Oh, you know, like, I mean, this even goes back to Hillary Clinton's emails. It's like, okay, are the emails that important anymore at this point?
Y'all fucking mind about them emails, but this man is essaying women, and that we're not talking about that, really?
Hey, where that money at, though? Because I know he owed that one with some money.
Talking about, I could go on, he was right. Remember, like, fucking 8 years ago when he was like, I could walk down Saks Avenue right now,
shot somebody in
in the head, and they would still vote for me? He was actually right.
Remember back in the 90s where the Central Park 5, the exoneration.
He got a one-page ad.
Yeah.
As a black boy. as a black boy, I'm sorry to keep bringing it back to black men, but it's
No,
really
please,
important
please.
because I'm like, they don't understand this. When I was growing up, I saw that Ava DuVernay, not like, or whatever it's called, sorry. Ava DuVernay had a documentary about the Central Park Five, and I was watching it, and I was like, I was a black boy back then. If that was me and my brothers, and if I was innocent, I never did anything bad, but if I was like playing in the wrong neighborhood or was like with the wrong people at the wrong time, I would have been in jail. I don't, and he, not only did he put the ad out there, but he doubled down when they were like, oh, they were exonerated. He still was like, nope, they did it. These black boys, they did it. I'm like, and black men are voting for him. How is this possible? I saw myself in all these 5 men when that happened, and I was like, I can't possibly vote for somebody like that, especially if you don't take it back. That means you don't care, to me.
To your point on, not to say that I know what a black man would think, because I'd never ever suggest that, but there's this weird thing where being a trans guy in spaces when they don't know that I'm trans and I'm just,
showing up,
giving cis energy, serving. And that's when the walls come down and I have conversations with a lot of guys, and especially giving this, nice 80s villain look. They kind of think that I align with some of their views.
Damn.
As you know, when I get into those spaces and the mask falls off and I hear the shit that is said, and it's like, it does come back to misogyny when it comes to that, because like, I can tell you from the drop of a dime, the difference that someone will treat me as soon as they find out I'm trans. The way that it is a 180 in the way that people even just speak, even just make eye contact with me, every little thing changes so quickly and rapidly, because it's like they automatically then view me as a woman and then start to treat me as such. And that rooted misogyny, it's like, it really is deep within our society in the combination of racism together. And it's like having those conversations about what misogyny is actually still affecting us. Because a lot of people have this idea, it's like, oh, we're 2024 and women can wear pants and we've got rights and da-da-da-da-da. But it's like, no, because when I'm in these Nick Fuentes situations where these guys come in and have these conversations, because I get into video game spaces, I get into all that shit. I still do that bro shit. It's fun. I play that role. And it's like, I see this just visceral hate for women. And it's so interesting because I've always been trying to pick it apart as a trans man. And I'm realizing like it comes down to like womb envy.
Can we go there?
Oh yeah, we can go there.
I mean, it's
100%, because it's like, that's why men are so obsessed with technology, because technology is kind of feminine. If you really think about it, it's creating things, it's building things. It's something that men cannot do, create life. And it's this hate that comes out in these ways that goes all the way back to like when we lived in fucking caves of like, why is this woman able to give birth? Like, and I can't do this. And because quite frankly, if men could give birth, they would just make armies. It would be like the world would be a completely different place.
Women. Men do not, they do depend on women.
Yeah.
You depend on women.
Period.
Like
100%.
you depend on us.
We need
You would
you.
not exist
if
it were not for us. You physically would not exist.
Yeah.
Like,
I just think
need
that
you.
trans women always have it so much worse. We're always on the back end of everything.
Cool.
Like it's just, sitting here listening to you, and I'm thinking back to like the whole thing with Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro was not ready to debate a trans man.
Hell no, and I did that shit on purpose.
That's a conversation that
He doesn't know we exist.
he doesn't. It's not that he doesn't know that y'all exist. It's that he's not equipped to debate your experience. They're so programmed for it being people like you and I, trans women. Oh, trans women are nothing more than men. Trans women are doing this and that in the bathroom. That has been the scope of conversation for so long. It has been trans women. But then when you have a trans man, because you said a lot of important things in there, who looks the way that you do.
Yeah.
The best thing was when he said my vagina. I was like, no.
And I was, and you know what though? And I'm so. And,
I did that shit on
when I
purpose.
look back at
I wanted him to gas.
when I look back at it, it was such a powerful move.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I did not like the fact that there were other trans men criticizing you on
I don't
social
give a
media
shit.
about that. But the thing was, it was really interesting. It was really interesting to see that. And, we all come from our unique experiences or whatnot. And I love what you were saying earlier, because I think we have to have more conversation as Black folks in the room. No shade.
Girl, listen, hey, I know.
No, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? With our Black queer brothers and how we treat, how sometimes they treat their Black trans sisters. We still have a lot of work to do around that. The transphobia, the misogyny, all of the things or whatever. And it's kind of like, I was someone that did sex work in my 20s, and it was kind of like, you know, you did not, you don't like trans women getting the men and all the things or whatever, but then behind the scenes, you'll put on a wig, put on a little dress, and we'll play the part, right? You know exactly.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. I've had since the video went viral. I've had a few many conservative men DM me like, "I want to be your pay pig." I want, trying to buy my used socks, trying to be...
They say the weirdest shit.
They want me to be my subs. They want to do all this shit. I'm like...
Girl, you too? I've had so many in my...
Yes.
I've had so many tell me, and I was in Texas, they're like, oh... Do you need a sub?
Yes, it's always the sub, the pig thing.
I'm like,
we want to be dominated by a liberal. I'm like, what?
And then, can we? You know what? The one thing I hate when someone says to me, and it's like the most worst thing you can say to anyone black. Can we play the role of Massa enslaved but reversed?
I hate that.
I was like, no.
Sexual racism. I think
I had one guy who's like, can you like put me in a dress and humiliate me? There's so much repressed shit going on. Yeah. I think that it's envious of gay people for being able to express themselves and not being afraid to express themselves. I think they are envious of women for being able to express ourselves and express our femininity and have our masculine moments and create life and have... I do think that women have the sexual power. Like in a consensual relationship, when it's not about who is stronger, I do think that women have a sexual power.
Which it should be in women.
You know? And because, first of all, men are always horny and women are not really.
They're fucking turkeys this year. I couldn't eat a butterball turkey because...
Like, I've never had to convince my boyfriend to have sex with me. Like, it's just never he's always ready to go. Like, it's just that... I'm sorry, Fuki. He's going to be so mad at me.
We love it. We're very sex positive around here.
Oh, God. My parents
but you know what?
But, like, it's true. And they're envious.
He's going to get all these DMs watching. So I heard you.
Bro, but they're envious.
He's going to be like, baby, damn it. Why'd you do that?
No, I am actually going to have to warn him when I go home. No, but I do think that there are so many men who, like, when you don't actually just have a bad bitch who will give you consistent pussy, like, are envious of the fact that women have the power to choose when and when they are horny, who and when and why. And that's where I think all of this misogyny comes from, that is rooted in controlling women.
Yeah.
Because they feel and experience a lack of control over themselves.
Yeah.
I've gotten in fights on Instagram before I was famous. I got in this fight with this man one time who was struggling with porn addiction. And he kept saying, because I'm a man, I have so much testosterone, I cannot choose when I'm horny. I'm just always horny all the time.
Yeah.
And he's like, you get to choose. You don't know what it's like to just not have the option.
So unique experience though, that again and this is why I wish more trans people were in society. Because for real, like talking about that situation, adding a trans person in, I actually can give a really interesting perspective of understanding your perspective, but also understanding his perspective, because I have taken testosterone and that shit is a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. The whatever that chemical does, like it fucking makes situations hot and heated, and you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about when you go into a bathroom and you're like, why the fuck am I hard? Anyways, it's interesting to be in that and to have that experience as a trans man, because like I've been able to turn it on, turn it off by adding hormones or taking hormones away. And I can tell you flat out, like, there are men's mental health issues that also are being dealt with, and they also suffer from misogyny themselves. And that's the craziest
misogyny
thing.
Against each other, often.
Even women perpetuate the misogyny on them. It's like, oh, you got to be this way, you got to be that way,
you got to be 5, whatever, 6, whatever. No,
dick size, this, that, and the other. And it's like men suffer from it too. And I remember you were telling me before we got on, it's like, what is the purpose of our voice? Why the hell are we doing all this shit? What are we doing it for? My hope in the long run, for at least my particular path in life, is to really bridge the gap between men and women and the understanding of it, because I have experienced childhood as a woman, and what happened with Imani Khalif is exactly what I experienced as a child, because they were like, that's a man, because I was like 6 feet tall in, 5th grade, and they were like, what the so like I experienced that as a child, but I also experienced the hardship of what it actually is to be a man. I have a wife, I have the experiences that all that come with that, the trials and tribulations of providing as a man and showing up as a man, protecting as a man. All of that shit is also hard and also not discussed. So that's why this red pill content comes out, and I kind of understand the angle of where they take these young men and be like, hey, we're going to help you. We're going to solve this shit. But as a trans guy, I want to be like, hey, that is actually not what women want. I got a vagina. Listen, let me show you, and I want to fucking help guys out too, because the violence, again, that's perpetuated in the world comes from the duality of women being misunderstood and men being misunderstood simultaneously.
But women have,
right?
We have so many environments in which we can vent about.
Trans people are so important for this message, and I think it's why society has so many trans people right now, is because the gender wars are so fucked that we are actually popping up more and more to teach the life lessons to the greater consciousness as a whole.
And I do feel like because
that's what
women experience systemic oppression at the hands of men, that sometimes we do not take men's issues seriously. I just want to say personally to everyone watching, I have been accused many times of being a misandrist. And I just want to respond to that. I am not a misandrist. I do not hate men. I do not believe that women are better or deserve more rights at all. But I do take issue with a pattern that I have witnessed in which men will be facing very real and very serious hardships and concerns and ostracizations based on their identity. Yeah. And instead of externalizing that in a healthy way of trying to connect with other men and bridge those gaps, they will externalize it in a way that is attacking and dehumanizing women. Ooh, that is the issue. Yeah. It is not your hardship. It is not your struggle. We want to help you. We want to help you. We love you. And we want to help you and see you succeed, because when you fail, it affects all of us.
Yes, it does.
It really does. We're not on a different team. Wow. We all have to live together, and we are not against you in any way. Sure. It's when you use your pain and your suffering as an excuse to attack women that I take issue. Seriously.
That's why, when you say a race war, when you're talking about a race war, I was I don't see that. I don't want that to happen, because I feel like
you okay, babe?
Yeah.
We've had so much time to grow and learn that we should be able to at least sit down and be like, hey, this really isn't what it is. We need to figure out ways that we can work around this. We need to figure out the schools. We need to figure out just life in general. The things that we are teaching our kids right now, what are we teaching our kids? Our president can be this nasty person and still win? Or are we teaching our kids that no matter what, there's consequences to your actions, and there's actually a better way to do things to make other people's lives better versus worse?
Yeah.
I want to share my coming out story with you guys, because I feel like it's important, especially based on what you both just said.
Yeah.
I have a father who is from the South, Christian, super, and everyone, when I came out, everyone was like, well, how are you going to tell him? Everyone was kind of we knew, we're waiting for you, but how are you going to tell that man? Because my dad's very he's the patriarch of our family. He's the one. And we're very close. I remember I told my dad when I was in college, I came out to him and I was like, Daddy, whatever. And he said to me, he goes, again, I was afraid. He's like, I tell you kids all the time. He's like, I had you. I know every single thing about you before you know it about yourself. My daddy and I are like this, because he was like, I'm not going to take all of this past trauma of whatever I've been through with my, my religion and my being from the South, and I'm not going to project that onto my son. That's my baby. I love him. That's mine. My daddy and I are like this. I love my daddy because he did not fall victim to.
That's beautiful.
You know what I mean? And it's up to my partner this last night. I was like, I'm so happy to, you know what I mean? It's because that's so rare, which is disgusting that's rare.
I hope
that's for black men.
Well, it's important to raise.
Black community really needs to do that better.
I actually had the same experience with my dad, because I told him Dad,
love you, Dad. Probably
seen my Instagram. You see how I changed a lot, and he's all and we never had a good relationship. I was always with my mom all the time. So when I told my dad, I'm like, Dad, this is what I am. This is what it is. He's all baby, you always had a good head on your shoulders. You've always been accomplished in everything that you do, no matter what it is. And you've always made your own way. And I love you no matter what. And for him to be from the South also, that is a big thing, because that teaches anyone from the South, any black person within their families, acceptance is there. You just have to give it, write it, and then you all eat together. No matter what, we all going to come to the same home. We all want to come back to the same people. we all going to make money. We all going to win together. But when you take that option and be like, I don't want to deal with these people, guess what? Now I'm winning without you. And when I win without you, I'm going to win big.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Like I'm going to win the lotto up in here. And then when I win that lotto, guess what? You're left in the back. I'm in the front. And anyone who was with me during that point is going to win with me.
Period.
I love that we all understand the importance of unity. Like in this room, I genuinely appreciate that. I just really hate that the reality of it is Donald Trump and the way that he weaponizes people, the way that he uses people, it's disgraceful, it's despicable, it's disgusting. But I believe that it will take us building a coalition amongst each other and having these conversations and carrying these conversations over that we can fight against that. You know what I mean? Like as a trans woman, I just think about where I am in society now, especially being a Black trans woman. Then on top of that, I'm also Native as well too. And so there's a lot of like transphobia within the Native American community that I'm also a part of. So, you know, I look at where I am in this country today and where I stand, and I'm just exhausted.
Yeah.
I have been out here advocating for Black women, Black men, immigrants,
trans men in general.
Trans men. I've been advocating for everyone. And I just want to see a return on my investment.
There's a phenomenon. Have you seen have you seen the like hashtag Black Rest or something, like Black Women Rest?
Yes. And so I'm glad you brought that up because I have been contemplating whether I want to promote that because as a Black trans woman, I need to rest too.
Yes.
But I can only rest for so long because I know that if I rest too long, I'm not going to be able to come back, number one. Number two, I could be in a place of detriment where I don't know if I can pull myself up. You know, as a trans person in this country, our rights to gender affirming care, our rights to be able just to use the freaking bathroom. You know, my friend Sarah McBride is going through what she's going through in Congress, which I'm so proud of her because I've known Sarah for over 10 years. When I first became an activist, you know, she was there with HRC. And so, you know, it's just a lot happening. But I appreciate the conversations, whether we agree or disagree, that are happening around that because that's how we build coalitions of understanding. Yeah. And what I hope is, because, you know, astrologically, looking at all the aspects or whatever, yes, there's a race war potentially happening, but it's how we combat it. And I love what you said so much because it's so, so important. I just think that we have to learn to take what we're saying here and find impactful ways to make that change happen.
I don't think it's 4B though. Can we please stop pushing that? I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
No. So here's the thing.
It's not 4B.
I don't want to wish it, but I'm also a realist because, you know, when I'm looking at the astrology of it or whatnot, it's already happening. It's been happening for so long under this Trump administration. However, I do think as time goes along, because Trump has given permission for people who essay, people who commit rape, commit crimes,
pedophilia,
all of those things to be able to thrive. This is where it's a little bit different than the first time.
And become emboldened as well. Because as soon as the election hit, my comment section went through.
Yeah. But see, if y'all notice, this is where the difference happened the first time.
I don't even, I will read my TikTok comments the first 10 minutes after I post a video, and then anything after that, I just don't even look.
So I want to make this very clear. We're not wishing anything here, but I do think we have to be prepared for it because this is the difference between now and the first time. He wasn't convicted of all those things the first time, right?
Yeah.
And it's given permission for people who feel empowered by Trump.
I know. The fact that you know what this monster is, but you're still riding for it.
Correct.
Like the first time it was kind of like, well, you know, we like his ideas. He's never been a politician before, so we don't know if he's going to be horrible. And then he was. So we all know now that he's horrible. We've all watched him be horrible for like 8 years. If you're still willing to vote for him,
shame on you.
Like, but that's such a much worse beast. Like at first I was just like, okay, our country's stupid. Now it's more like, oh, this is beyond stupid because we all know the allegations and the accusations against all these people.
Yeah, for sure.
But yet you still choose to ride with them.
Right.
That's not just ignorance. That's an issue of morality, you know?
Yes.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's so nice to meet you because I've been watching the podcast for a while now, and I saw your content doing that. Was like, I cannot wait to meet you. So
Oh,
I'm so happy.
thank you. I
So
appreciate
You're
all
on the
of
famous
y'all.
couch now. You're part of the podcast.
Yeah, I
Honored.
appreciate
I'm
all
honored.
of y'all. I was
For
excited
real.
to see all
For
of y'all
real.
too. Like because getting on that show and debating Ben Shapiro, all four of you, like that was so powerful because you all come from your unique experiences, and people like him need to see it and face off with it. Like I think, and I know you didn't get a chance to go up there, but you're gonna have your moment because we're manifesting moments, bigger moments for all of y'all here. I want to say to the people, because I'm kind of the only one that wasn't there or whatever. I am so proud of you. We are so proud of you because it took courage, it took charisma to be able to sit there with patience, with empathy, because y'all had enough empathy to go
Not
on
me.
there.
And you know what? To Jubilee, my face is not that big.
Thank you.
My face is not that big. I am not that big in the face.
I mean, they talk
You had
about-
enough empathy to go on there
That's
and
crazy
just
work.
talk about what you needed to say.
Yeah,
I'm so happy.
Oh, by the way, I actually just want to clear something up because people kept making fun of me for wearing that dog collar.
What?
My dog died.
Wow.
Yeah, I bet y'all feel stupid now, don't you?
should.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
thought it
people
was
kept being
cute.
like, she's in a dog collar. I'm like, my dog died. And now I don't wear it. Also, the latch broke on it. But now
thought it
I
was
don't
cute.
wear it.
I liked it.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
See? And I do feel like a lot of times people will watch these videos without knowing, like, and one thing, they don't really prepare you for the aftermath of this. And I think a lot of people will see the video and get an idea of who I am based on like 10 minutes of me.
Yeah.
And it's like, you really don't know me. Like when Aiden Ross is talking about she gets no dick, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, you don't know me. None of you know me.
Aiden Ross got his nerve. Didn't
Well,
he
that's
pay
the
for
thing
some
with
of
the
Sexy
internet.
Red?
though. Oh
Didn't
my
he
God.
pay for some of Sexy Red? I could have swore he paid for some of that.
I think that's actually factual.
Look, Sexy, get your money, girl. Get it, Sexy. Get it, Sexy.
Not Sexy
Y'all
Red
are
catching
freaking
phrase.
fantastic. All of
I
y'all
really-
is amazing.
Yeah, like
I'm just grateful to be here amongst
Oh.
all of y'all. Y'all are such powerhouses.
No,
in
you
this
two,
room.
you two are amazing. You two are amazing. I
No,
cannot wait
seriously.
to do this.
Heck yeah.
I think my favorite thing about doing these videos, because people ask me, like, if you knew what was going to happen, would you do it again? Honestly, probably not.
Really?
Really?
No, I'm not going to lie. It was because I'm in school. I'm a full-time student. And it was really, really disruptive. Like, I was in classes where we'd have to do political debates. And now, of course, everyone wants me to speak.
Yep.
And, like, there have been some really cool opportunities and stuff that's come from it. Obviously, like, knowing you guys, like, meeting Hassan, like, I've had some really wonderful conversations with, like, kids and especially, like, younger teenagers who are just, like, feeling really lost and being like, I love your content. And, like, that stuff is beautiful. And I would not change that for the world. But I do wish I was, like, 25 when this had happened. Like, it's been really hard to, like, be in school, no media training, like, still, like, trying to figure it out, find my footing in my career, which is not in politics, and have this kind of, like, shitstorm, like, suddenly on me. It's been really hard to, like, balance and navigate.
But you know what? I think
yeah.
that
Thank
this
you.
happening right now actually gives you an opportunity to do something. Maybe you don't want to do political things. Maybe you want to start a nonprofit that actually benefits people in a way that you know benefits them. Or you want to educate people in a way that allows them to be heard and seen. There's a lot of different avenues now that you have available to you that most people do not.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest picture that you can ever see. Like, I always tell people, God doesn't put you in a place that you're not ready for. He puts you in a place that makes you more available to him and works through you.
I love that. I love that.
Naima,
Yeah.
to that point, like, I've been in activism, what is it, like 15 years now with trans rights?
Yeah.
Yes, because I'm 35 going on 36, and I have met a lot of leaders in a lot of different communities. And what I see in you, and even just how you're able to acknowledge, like, male struggle, which most people were probably like, wait a second, she actually understands men go through shit, because I'm sure they've created that image of you of like being a man hating
I think
whatever,
there's
you know,
so many- I'm
they
like
always
a
do that
man-hating alien.
you're a blue-haired liberal
I
and
know.
blah, blah, blah. But in reality, it's like we are so much more complex and nuanced than that.
Yeah.
And like, from what I see in you, and something that I've always seen in people that lead really well, they hate leading. Blossom will tell you this. Like, even
I do hate leading.
for
Me too, I hate
some
it.
of the stuff that I have done now that she has pushed me into. She's like, no, you need to be the one up front. You need to stop being second man. You need to be the one that's in the jump, because I had like self-confidence issues and stuff. And that came through over age and stuff because I learned through some shit. So you're still going through that aging process of learning things. But from what I'm just seeing, some of your content and even just how you came to show up today, it's like you have a very strong leadership quality about you that is really important in politics. It's like, I don't want to really be a politician, neither does Blossom, but her and I,
I may want to run for office.
I don't, now I feel
one
that way.
day.
But like,
I don't
remember
think
when we
I
first,
Congressman Blossom.
because her and I, we actually like are sitting, like, I hate to break it to anybody in the comments, but we actually are sitting like commissioners and stuff
Yes,
like that. We actually
yeah.
do like stuff with the city of West Hollywood, the city of LA, and like influence the mayor directly and actually are in politics. And it's something that I never thought I would do. I thought I was going to be a musician. I thought I was going to be a rock star. I thought I was going to do all those things because that's what I grew up doing.
I'm in film. I'm supposed to be a
I
comedy
kept getting
writer. I'm like, what the hell is
same,
this?
but for some reason I kept getting pulled into this political world. And to your point earlier, it's like how Black women can't rest. It's also trans people can't rest either, because if we do, then we're going to lose everything. And it's like
On
we're
the front line,
forced
our lives are
into
the
it.
first that will be taken.
Yeah,
But you know what?
All right.
You being here
Is important.
Not, it's important, but it's not a mistake. It
Yeah.
is alignment.
Yeah.
Maybe you're supposed to shine a light on these particular topics in film.
and get some more pay pigs
Yeah.
too.
And you know, you never know. Like there's
I'm not gonna lie.
Link in bio.
Hey pigs, you're welcome to hit me up.
$1,000 on Venmo to all of us. All right.
Tyler Perry Studios.
Yes, you can hit me up on Instagram at hair.soup with 2 P's now. Back and better than ever.
Link in bio.
Link in bio. No, don't do that. My boyfriend go kill me. But
There's
honestly,
all these Venmos like,
no, that one, he's like, yeah, okay.
honestly, can I tell you something? I put up a TikTok video because of all that viral stuff, and
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, I want to buy him drinks," and I just was like, "Here's my Venmo. I got a few donations, so do it."
I've gotten
you know
a
what
few.
I mean?
I have gotten a few. I
love
had one
donations.
guy. Shout out this guy.
Anybody wants to give donations?
Seriously,
Shane
no,
Ivan
this
Nash at
one guy,
Venmo.
Oh my god, his email. I forget. It was like the change.
Why am I booing
He.
you?
Oh my god.
Because you didn't get the donations, huh, girl? Blossom C. Brown at Venmo.
I had this one guy, by the way, shout out. He was just buying me coffee every day for like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out
to the supporters.
You got me through like a very sleepy 2 weeks. So I really appreciate you for that. Wherever he's at, I hope he's doing well. I hope he's thriving.
Yes.
Well, I think this is a beautiful place to even end the episode here. Quick question. Where the hell do we find everybody? Because I want to make sure all the social medias are out so everybody follows us. Because
follow, too.
for some reason, Jubilee didn't tag me, Shady.
Shady ladies.
Shady lady.
You gotta text them like 40.
My man is texting.
Oh, I know. No, trust. They didn't tag me.
Oh,
So
maybe I'm-
anybody that's looking for me, Shane Ivan Nash on all social medias. And where can we find y'all?
Oh, hi. I'm screenager. I'm hair soup at hair.soup with 2 P's on Instagram, and then just at hair.soup on TikTok.
Nice.
I'm thinking about starting a YouTube channel too. So
Do it.
when I do that,
Yes,
follow
please.
it.
Do it.
That's when that's happening.
Stay tuned. I have a podcast coming out very soon called I Know What You Mean. You can find me on socials on Instagram at ArcaneBro, ARCANEBRO. And that's it.
Beautiful.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I got some-
Can't wait to
Instagram, you can
watch.
find me at Beauty Barbie Kaylani. And then on TikTok, it is Kaylani-J.
Blossom, where
I
can we
love you.
find you?
Blossom C. Brown, all platforms. You already know.
Including Venmo.
Blossom Sellout Tarot, please Venmo me. I want some of that abundance.
We gotta stop.
What about you?
Well, they know where to find me at ShaneIvanNash.com or wherever Shane Ivan Nash is, where, you can even get a sweater. I'm probably going to be hanging this jersey up. Actually, today's going to be the last day I
You need
wear
to
it.
frame that.
Oh, I
Yeah,
framed
yeah.
it.
Put it in the
I'm going to
picture
sign
frame.
it,
You were sitting there with Ben Shapiro with the.
I know. He called me bro and then he regretted it. But I want to make sure everybody hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure to follow all of us. Stay tuned for more episodes because you got more conversations coming. Stay tuned for more. And Blossom, you want to outro us with our little...
I sure do. Take a little time to enjoy the Trans-parency Podcast show. We'll see you next time.